Hey there. Hey everybody, this is Tracy Housel from tracyhousel.com. I'm starting my time about 2 minutes early because from my experience, webinars on air tends to lag behind real time. So I'm going to assume it still does. All right, welcome to my home office in Wilmington, Delaware. Today, if you forgot why you're here, you are going to be learning all about, let me put my slides up. How to stop getting to the end of the day with nothing done. And like I said before, I'm Tracy Housel from tracyhousel.com. So I have a few questions for you. What would your business look like if you did not, if you did not procrastinate? What would your life look like if you woke up every day knowing what to do? What would your business look like if you stopped wasting time? What would your life look like if you knew where everything was? What would your business look like if you were able to focus? And finally, what would your business look like if you kept going even when you were frustrated? So today, you're going to learn how to end procrastination, manage time, which magically adds more time to your day, how to create habits and rituals that will have you running on autopilot, how to find what you are looking for, how to focus in on your business and avoid distractions, how to keep going in your business even if you see no progress. So why should you listen to me? Well, I have a master's in science and school psychology, a bachelor of science in special education. So what's that mean? It means I had over 20 years, about 22 years to be exact, working with children and adults that have difficulties with time management, organization, learning, attention, and more. Those degrees and what I learned getting those degrees also taught me how to break down tasks into teeny tiny bite-sized pieces so that you don't feel like there's 20 million, there's one huge big task to do. You can divide it down. I've also got a lot of, well, not a lot, but I have a few family members who have difficulties with focusing and learning. And it has become my passion to help adults in the home business industry find success and overcome difficulties despite what they have been told what they can't do. In other words, if this is you, remember when you were in school and someone said you were lazy, you were stupid, you couldn't do it, you'd never make it? They weren't right. You can be successful. You just might need to learn or do things in a different way. So why should you take this webinar seriously? What will your business look like if you don't learn how to manage your time, overcome procrastination, get organized, and get focused? What will your life look like a year from now if you don't learn these skills? And if you don't learn these skills, you'll be in the 99% that fail in their business. So who would benefit from this webinar? Any person in the home business profession that wants to be successful in overcoming difficulties with focusing, any person that will do what is taught and not make excuses why they can't, any person who is tired of procrastinating and getting nowhere or going backwards in their business, any person in the home business profession that is willing to put the work in to be successful. So what are some common myths? Multitasking will help you get more stuff done. That is not true. You don't actually ever multitask. The closest you will ever come is doing something that requires you not to consciously think while you're doing something else. An example of that is singing when you're in the shower, listening to a book or a podcast or music when you're going for a walk, those kinds of things. But other things, you can't do all at one time. You really can't. Your brain goes from one topic, stops, goes to the other topic, stops, goes back to the other topic, stop, goes to this task. It doesn't happen at the same time. It really doesn't. Another common myth is, as long as you know where everything is, you don't need to be organized. Well, that might work for a short period of time, but if you've got a whole bunch of clutter kind of attracts clutter and just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. How do I know? I spent the first month decluttering my office, and I've still got some stuff to do here, but I'm going to move on to some other rooms next. Oh, a big myth that is really controversial to some and makes me mad when I hear it. You can sleep when you're dead. Well, I'm here to tell you, if you don't sleep, you will be dead. A person who sleeps gets as little as 4 hours of sleep. Do you know how they act? Like someone who is drunk. The reaction time is just like someone who is drunk. Another myth. Oh, by the way, for sleep, lack of sleep, oh, it interferes in so many things. It helps you gain weight. It increases some agitation. You have difficulty focusing. I can't even go into the number of things that lack of sleep can affect. And that's assuming that when you did sleep, you went into REM sleep and slept deep and well. Okay, so another myth is you work your best when under pressure. There might be a few people who do this, but for the most part, you have to work when you wait to the last minute to do it. And since you usually wait to the last minute to do it, you really have no idea if that's your best work. And finally, you really don't have the time to do all this stuff. Yeah, you do. If you declutter, you save time because you can find stuff right away. If you get to sleep and get enough sleep, you're not going to read the same thing 3, 4, 5 times. You can't focus. So what would take you 20 minutes is probably going to take you 2 hours. And if you're talking about not having enough time in the day, sure, we all have the same number of hours in the day. It's how you use those hours, what you consider a priority. So, why do you procrastinate? Well, you might not know what to do or how to do it. You don't know how to prioritize. This is one I dealt with for a very long time. You subconsciously fear the outcome. Negative self-talk. Not having the right tools to help you get your job done. So how do you end procrastination? Well, you figure out why you procrastinate. If it's because there's too much stuff to do, list the top 3 most important things to do. If you're procrastinating because something's too difficult or you don't like it, then start with something easy that you do like, and build momentum. Build up to that difficult task. And I like starting with something easy because all the easy things I can cross off my list, and then I just have that big thing. Or that difficult thing. Doesn't even have to be big. And another reason why you might procrastinate is if you don't know what you should be doing on a daily basis in your business, go learn it. That's how you fight procrastination. So how do you find time in a busy day? Well, you could do something called a time audit. I'm sure there's some nice and flowery names for this. I don't know them. That's okay. So every 15 minutes, you can get a calendar marked off in 15 minutes intervals. What you doing? Do this for at least 24 hours. I would do as many days as you can without driving yourself nuts. And be honest with yourself. Because there's no point in saying that you were writing a blog post if you were really watching TV. I don't care what you were doing. Be honest with yourself. What were you really doing? And you know what? Just like doing a food diary, you're more aware of how you spend your time. So you probably, while you're doing it, will actually do a better job of doing what you should be doing because you don't want to admit that you were doing stuff that shouldn't be a priority. After you complete the audit, look at the time wasters and reduce and eliminate them. Even if you wasted 10 minutes, there's always things you can do in your business. You can send a message to somebody. You can write a Facebook post. You can post somebody. There's all things you can do. Make sure you take breaks. If I'm doing something that I find difficult, I will take a 15-minute break every hour. So I work for 45 minutes, take a 15-minute break. Breaks are not time wasters as long as you're not abusing them. I actually sometimes do useful things like laundry during my breaks. So how do you focus on your business? Plan when you will work. Put it on the calendar. Declutter the area. I have found the flat spaces in my office, and I'm ecstatic. Most of it was my stuff from school, from when I was a school psychologist. Some of it was my husband's. Unless you've done it, you really can't really get it, but it really does make you feel better. And get more stuff done in a clutter-free area. Use a timer on your computer, whatever works. Task I'm not enjoying. I'm thinking when I'm at home writing reports, I would set a timer for 3 sets of 15 minutes. Now you might ask, why wouldn't I just do 45 minutes? Because I really didn't like what I was doing. I enjoyed working with kids. I hated writing the reports that no one would read. So I would set it for 3 sets of 15 minutes and think of it as 3 and not 45. It worked. What can I say? Another thing you need to do to focus on your business is sit down with your family and make rules about interrupting your office time. I know a friend of mine, she taught her daughters how, if they needed something when she was, say, on a webinar or on a call, either to write something down or they had hand signals. But that's for emergencies. In my book, includes blood and broken bones. But you make your own emergencies because you really do need to sit down. It's best if you have a room where you can get away from everybody. I do have the people before us used this as a den. Half my room is the office. The other half is storage and a coat hanger, otherwise known as a but thank God you walk on it. Anyway, but if you don't, I knew someone whose office was in a closet. They would open the door, their desk was there, and they worked. And write down tonight what you plan on doing tomorrow, because it'll be in your head overnight. You'll be thinking about it subconsciously overnight, and you won't have to think about what to do when you sit down to work. How to create a ritual or a habit. I took Wake Up Productive, Eben Pagan, a few years ago, and he called habits rituals. I like that. I think it's kind of cool. So I usually use it. You can create rituals from when you get up, before you go to bed, what has to be done in the office every day. I learned these types of habits because I had to be taught some things. My mother didn't teach me everything I needed to know. Some of it was intuitive, but a lot of things weren't. I found flylady.net. I make no money off of anything if you should buy something from her or read something from her. And she has what she calls control journals. And she has things you should do before you go to bed. I mean, you don't have to do them. And things you should be doing when you get up in the morning. And I have my own ritual for that. Pick things that you'll be doing every day. You need to create content. You need to meet new people. You need to communicate with your list. I don't care if there's one person on your list, you need to talk to them. And besides that, when you write to your list, you're only writing to one person anyway, because they have to feel like you're talking to only them. And if doing all that freaks you out at first, pick one thing and develop that into a ritual, into a habit. It can take anywhere, depending on each person is different, from 7 days to 30 days to start a new ritual. And you'll have trained your brain that you will do those tasks, and you'll begin to not even think about it. When I restarted my business after being away for 2 years, working full-time and either taking care of my dad or visiting him after school, I had to get back in the habit. And I can't just start all gung-ho, because that will freak me out. So I started with just one or two things that I felt comfortable doing, and I added to it. Years ago, when I was taught doing these 3 things, it was impossible for me to do them all at once. I started with one thing. I think it was doing a blog post. I did that for a week, maybe 2 weeks. You can do any kind of content. And then I added writing to my list. And then I added meeting new people. So you can break even those down into smaller bits if you need to. So how do you find what the heck you're looking for? Well, the easiest thing to do is when you're finished with something, you put it back where it belongs so that it's always there. I trained myself not too long after I moved in the house to always put my keys in the same spot. Every once in a while, I'll put them somewhere different if I get distracted when I'm walking the house. But for the most part, I put my keys in the same spot so I know where they are. Start files, whether they be paper or digital or both, for various things that you need in your business. For example, a file for expenses, a file for income, a file for your M&M or M&M. I'm not hungry, really. MLM or affiliate program. A file for your notes and handouts on the marketing strategy you're learning. I personally use Evernote now. I started using that this past summer because I found I would have notebooks and then I would not know where I put the notebooks because I did have clutter. So I paid, I think it was $50, maybe $55 for the premium edition of Evernote so I can search it. So I don't have to go looking for notebooks anymore. Also, in your email program, you can use folders. I have folders for Swipe Copy, information sent by MLM and affiliate companies that I will need later, topics I'm interested in, letters from people I'm interested in, and you can automate some things to go straight into your folder. The bad side effect to that part is you want to make sure that you marked it red, because your email provider may see that as you considering it spam if you're not opening it. And the person who is sending you the email may decide after so many months they're going to take you off the list because they don't want a huge list that no one opens. Because open rates are also important. And that's one way you can get rid of what they think is dead wood, even though you really do want their stuff. How do you keep going when things get rough? Well, when you're first getting going, you're not looking at your results yet because you can't improve what you don't have. So what you need to do is reward yourself for the actions you have taken. For example, if you have created content consistently for a given period of time. Reward yourself. It doesn't have to be something that costs money. You know, I mean, I'm not telling you to go on a trip or anything. It could be as simple as you give yourself an extra 30 minutes to read that week. And I don't mean read the good stuff. I mean read the fiction or anything. A bubble bath. Could be anything. Do reward yourself when you get results. But especially, I say even here, but especially the teeny tiny ones in the beginning. You get your first lead, reward yourself. You make your first sale, reward yourself. Now, this one may seem a little strange, but I learned from Mark Herverson to be excited about the negative experiences you will have, because they'll happen. So reward yourself because people are learning more about you. You're making emotions with them when you get a nasty email. Reward yourself when people unsubscribe from your list, because if they unsubscribe from your list, they weren't your people to begin with. You're hitting a nerve. Reward yourself. That means you're doing something that has meaning. You're affecting people. And have a coach that you have to be accountable to. They can help you with your skills. I specialize in working skills like time management, breaking things down, which should go first, prioritizing, organizing, those kinds of things. That's what I specialize in. And I have a coach. And I know once a week I'm going to be talking to him and saying, what did I do this week? What didn't I do this week? Some of it's easy to see. Not all of it is. So I have to be honest with him. It doesn't help to not be honest. So, what are your next steps? Well, you can take the information and just apply it and see the results. But if you want to go faster, you want to sign up for my coaching program. Why? Well, each program is tailored to fit your needs and your concerns. I've been a special ed teacher. I've been a school psychologist. Nothing I do is cookie cutter. Nothing. I have things I pull for different skills that I'm teaching or that I'm helping someone learn. But I'm not going to say, okay, everyone has to go through this. Everyone has to go through that. Nope. Not the kind of person I am. You have to have someone to be accountable to who won't be nice when you don't do what you said. If you have, I wish you could see Stella. She's sitting on the desk behind me, my cat Stella. If you have an accountability partner as your friend, they're not going to hold you accountable. They're going to say, "Oh, don't do that again," or "I know you better do better next week." A coach will ask you, what do you want? They'll ask you what you want them to do if you don't do what you say, or how are you going to change things for the next week. You need someone who understands how people learn, how you learn, and that not everyone learns the same way. And you can get your questions answered and you're going to move faster. So, what's in my coaching program? Well, there is one 15-minute introductory call that's valued at $47. There are 4 once a week, 30-minute individualized sessions, and they're valued at $97 per session. Unlimited email support during the program. And I'll give you, well, actually, I won't give you, you and I together would develop a gamified action plan, which is valued at $147. So total of a 4-week program is $679. Now, the 4 weeks don't have to be consecutive. For example, if I'm going away or you're going away, but you can't drag them out for months. You can do it in 5 or 6 weeks. And what's a gamified action plan? Well, I talked about this a little bit during the early part of the webinar. And a gamified action plan is one in which you have to level up, just like a video game. Everyone starts on level 1. So you and I would decide together, where are you at right now? We would decide level 10, what does that look like? And then we'd go up each level and say which each level is. You would reward yourself every time you go up a level, just like a video game. This is to help you keep your momentum up. So for the next 10 people who sign up for a 4-week coaching program, we'll pay only $197. After those 10 people, I'm closing it down. When and if I open it up, because once I get clients, they tend to stay with me until they no longer need a coach for these particular skills I do, and they're ready to move on to a different type of coach, my prices probably will double. No, that's not probably about it. They will double. So this offer ends when 10 got a little in there. 10 people have signed up, or by midnight Eastern on Wednesday. You go to tracyhousel.com/app to complete your application, because I want you to understand that not everyone is accepted into coaching, because not everyone's a good fit for me, and I'm not a good fit for everyone. No matter what, the first 15-minute introductory call is yours for free. There's no paying me for that at all, whether you continue on or not. So that is, let's see, the end of the coaching and in the program. And get rid of this. And I don't think I showed my slides. Oh well. All right. So I'm going to open up the chat, and you let me know if you would like me to actually do this again, or if you just want me to send the slides. You know what? I'll just do it again. Let's see. Show screen share. Entire screen. Oh, there's Stella in the background. She's saying, hey, everybody. All right, when I send this replay out, if it cooperates, I will cut this beginning part out. Okay, so here we are again. Today, we're going to talk about how to stop getting to the end of the day with nothing done. And my name is Tracy Housel from tracyhousel.com. So I have some questions for you. What would your business look like if you did not procrastinate? What would your life look like if you woke up every day knowing what to do? What would your business look like if you stopped wasting time? What would your life look like if you knew where everything was? What would your business look like if you were able to focus? What would your business look like if you kept going even when you were frustrated? So you're going to learn how to end procrastination, manage your time, and magically add more time to your day. How to create habits and rituals that will have you running on autopilot. How to find what you're looking for. How to focus in on your business and avoid distractions. and how to keep going in your business even if you see no progress. So why should you listen to me? Well, I have a Master's of Science in School Psychology and a Bachelor of Science in Special Education. And all those things we talked about, what I learned when I got those degrees, and with the over 20 years, about 22 years, working with children and adults that had difficulties with time management, organization, learning, attention, and more stuff going on. I've got family members who have difficulties with focusing or learning. And my passion, absolute passion, is to help adults in the home business industry find success and overcome difficulties, despite what they have been told that they can or can't do. If that's you, remember how in high school you were told, or maybe you heard a teacher tell someone else, they were lazy, they were stupid, that they'll never amount to anything. Well, malarkey. You can have success. School just might not have done your thing because they might have not taught you the way you should have listened. I should have learned. They might not have understood what you needed. And that's what I'm here for. So why should you take this webinar seriously? Well, what would your business look like if you don't learn how to manage your time, overcome procrastination, get organized, and get focused? What will your life look like a year from now if you don't learn these skills? And if you don't learn these skills, you'll be in the 99% that fail in their business. Who would benefit? Any person in the home business profession that wants to be successful in overcoming difficulties with focusing or learning, or those other areas we talked about. Any person that will do what is taught and not make excuses why they can't. Because if you make excuses why you can't do something, there's no point. This isn't going to help you. It also benefits any person who's tired of procrastinating and getting nowhere, or going backwards in some cases, in their business. It also benefits any person in the home business profession that is willing to put in the work to be successful. So what are some common myths? Multitasking will help you get more stuff done. No, not true. No. The only time that you actually multitask, and you still really aren't, but it's the closest you'll come, is if you're doing one thing that requires your conscious not to do. An example is singing in the shower. Actually, neither one of those things are real conscious sometimes. But another thing is going for a walk and listening to a podcast, music, or what have you. You can do those two things at the same time because neither one of them are real brain intensive. But otherwise, you're not doing two things at one time. You're doing one thing, you're stopping, you're going to the other task. You're stopping that one, and you're going back to the other one. You're stopping that one, and going back to the other one. Another myth is, as long as you know what everything is, you don't have to be organized. No, because if you're not organized, that means you've probably got piles. And clutter attracts clutter, and those piles grow. And eventually, you can't just remember where everything is. Another myth that's kind of one of my soapboxes, I guess you could say, is you can sleep when you're dead. No. If you don't sleep, you could be dead. What do I mean by that? Your body needs sleep. You will literally, if you don't sleep and go days on days without sleep, you will literally go insane. The smaller things is lack of sleep affects weight gain. Lack of sleep impedes focus and concentration. So what you might have been able to do in 20 minutes will then take you 2 or 3 hours to do. It affects other parts of your health. There's tons of stuff that it can affect. If you've only had about 4 hours of sleep, your reaction time will be like if you're drunk. Another myth is you work your best when you're under pressure. Well, you might think that, and the reason why you might think that is that you never gave yourself time to do something. You always waited to the last minute. There might be a few tiny people who do work best under pressure. There's not a lot of them. Another myth is you just don't have the time. But you know what? We all have the same 24 hours, and there are people who work really long, obnoxious hours and still do their business. Why do you procrastinate? Well, you don't know what to do, how to do it. You don't know how to prioritize. You subconsciously fear the outcome. You have negative self-talk. You don't have the right tools. Could be one of those. Could be two of those. Could be all five of those. So how do you end procrastination? Well, you got to figure out why you procrastinate. If it's because there's too much stuff to do, then list the top 3 most important things to do. If you're procrastinating because something's difficult or you don't like it, then start with something easy or something you do like to build momentum. Brian Tracy wrote a book called Eat the Frog. He says you should do your most difficult stuff first. And usually one of the people I know try to do the most difficult stuff first. The most difficult stuff never gets done. And their easy stuff never gets done because their most difficult stuff never got done. And another way to end procrastination is if you don't know what you should be doing on a daily basis in your business, go learn it. So how to find time in a busy day and magically grow your time? Well, we're not really going to add more 24 hours a day, but you'd be surprised at how much time you could be wasting. So do a time audit. That's like a time diary. So every 15 minutes, write down what you're doing for at least 24 hours. I would do it more than that. You can get calendars that mark off every 15 minutes. And doing this makes you more aware of how you spend their time. And also, when you're doing it, you're liable to do what you're supposed to be doing more because you don't want to admit that you were doing something that you really shouldn't have been doing. At least to you, it's something you shouldn't be doing. After you complete the audit, look at the time wasters and reduce and eliminate them. Even if you just wasted 10 minutes, there's things you can do in that time. You can write a message on Facebook. You can do a post on Facebook. You can post a picture on Instagram. You can have a short phone call. And there's things you can always do. But make sure you have breaks. And breaks are not time wasters if you're not abusing them. So how do you focus on your business? Well, plan when you will work. Declutter the area where you will be working. This actually saves you time and you get more done in your clutter-free area. Use a timer. I use a timer, and a timer could be in your phone. It could be a kitchen timer. It could be something on your computer. When I'm doing something I really don't like, which was writing reports, when I would write them at home as a school psychologist, I would set a timer for 3 sets of 15 minutes. And then that 4th set of 15 minutes would be my break. Now you might ask, why don't you just set it for 45 minutes? Because in my mind, I could tell myself 3 sets. So I had 3, 2, 1, break time. It worked. What can I say? Also, sit down with your family and make rules about interrupting your office time. Make them know when office hours are. I have a friend who's taught her daughters to do certain things like write notes, hand signals, all kinds of things if they needed to interrupt her. And write down what you will do the day before. So tonight before you go to bed, preferably a lot sooner than that, write down what you want to do the next day. Or write down what you will do the next day. That way when you wake up, you won't have a brain freeze and wonder what you're supposed to be doing. So how do you create a ritual or a habit? A few years ago, I took a course by Eben Pagan called Wake Up Productive. And he called habits or morning routines rituals. And I thought that was cool. So I call them rituals too. You can create rituals for when you get up, before you go to bed, what has to be done in the office every day. I learned to do some of these because not everything came naturally to me through FlyLady.net. I don't make any money. She does not have an affiliate program. Everything you do helps them stay in business of helping you. So you can check her out. She has things called control journals that tell you what to do before you go to bed. An example is set your clothes out for the next day. Put your things in what did she call it? Launchpad. So, for example, let's say you don't want to forget your book bag or your briefcase or whatever, your satchel. Put them in front of the door so you kind of have to trip over. That could be a launch pad. If you're a night person who takes a shower at night, take a shower. Girls, wash your faces. Those kinds of things. Make sure your dishes are put away. For your business, pick things you will begin doing every day. There are 3 things you have to do, you can't get out of doing in order to have successful business. Is creating content, meeting new people, and communicating with your list. If doing all 3 of those at one time freaks you out at first, that's all right. Pick one thing and do it every day. A habit can take anywhere from 7 to 30 days until it becomes ingrained. Once you get comfortable doing that first thing, then add something else. And each of those topics can be broken down into smaller bits. And at the end, you'll have trained your brain that you will do those tasks, and you're not even going to think about doing it most time. I mean, you might think a little bit when I do my live Facebook at 1 o'clock every day. Well, Monday through Friday. I know I have to know what I'm going to do that day, but it's so ingrained in me that it's weird. It becomes weird if I don't do it. So how do you find what you're looking for or organize? Well, the best thing is to put things back where they belong when you're finished with them. You should start files, paper and or digital, for the various things you need in your business. For example, expenses, income, information on your MLM or affiliate program, notes and handouts on a marketing strategy you're learning. I started this summer using Evernote. And I have the premium edition because that allows me to search for things. I did have physical notebooks, and then I wouldn't remember what I wrote where or where I put the notebook because I had tons of clutter. So for me, it's easier just to type it in. Yes, it's always better to handwrite things, but it doesn't do me any good to handwrite those things if I can't find it later. So that's why I went to Evernote. You also can use folders in your email program and automate what you can. So I have folders for swipe copy, information sent by MLM or affiliate companies, telling you later, topics I'm interested in. My mentor, Diane Hockman, I have a folder for her that I put all her letters that she sends so I can study them. In automation, be careful when you do this. When you say, okay, make a rule and say, okay, I want all of these emails to go straight in this folder. You do want to set it so that it opens them, because your mail program may see that as spam if you don't open them. Also, if the person who's sending you the email looks through the list and they're trying to whittle it down, because the more people you have in your list, the more expensive it is to have the autoresponder program, they might cut you out. And you might actually want those things, but they think you don't. So remember that. How to keep going when you're so frustrated because you don't see any results. Well, reward yourself for the actions you have taken. So for example, if you created content consistently for a given period of time, reward yourself. I'm not saying a trip to Disney. I'm saying a bubble bath, extra time reading, go for a walk. It doesn't have to cost anything. You've spoken to a certain number of people for a period of time. You've earned a reward. Reward yourself for results, yes, but especially the teeny tiny ones. You got your first lead? Woohoo! Reward yourself. Made your first sale? Woohoo! Reward yourself again. Reward yourself when negative experiences happen. So you begin to desensitize yourself to them. So you get your first hate letter. Oh, you've made it now because you've affected somebody. Unsubscriber. Hey, you're looking for people who are looking for you. They're not looking for you, so they're gone. And have a coach that you have to be accountable to. So what is the next steps? Well, you can take this information I just taught you, and you can apply it, and you can see results. But if you want to go faster, you want to sign up for my coaching program. Why? Because each program is tailored to fit your needs and your concerns. You have someone to be accountable to who won't be nice when you don't do what you said. What do I mean by that? I mean that if you have your buddy be your accountability partner when you say don't do anything one week or don't do everything you're going to say, they might say, oh, well, you'll do better next time. No, coach doesn't do that. Coach says, well, why didn't you do that? And what are you going to do different next week? And a coach might say, okay, how are you going to negatively reinforce yourself? In other words, you're going to take something away? You're going to not earn something? Were you watching webinars and lives all week long so you didn't do any work? Then you have to earn that webinar or Facebook Live. You have to earn it. You have to do your work before you see it. You have to have someone who understands how people learn and that not everyone learns the same way. And you can get your questions answered. You don't have to go about it alone. So what's in my coaching program? Well, you get a 15-minute introductory call, and that's valued at $47. You get 40. You get 4 30-minute individualized sessions. It's $97 per session. Unlimited email support during the program, $97. Gamified action plan, $147. What is that? Just like a video game. You start in level 1, so what's level 1 look like? Okay, what's level 10 look like? And then we decide, and then you and I together decide what each level looks like. And you get a reward when you go to each level. Again, just like a video game. Total, that would be $679, but you're not going to pay that. For the next 10 people who sign up for this 4-week coaching program, and it doesn't have to be 4 consecutive weeks, but you can't take 6 months to do it either. You will pay only $197. First 10 people, or midnight Eastern on Wednesday, whichever comes first. I'm done. I'm closing it down. And when and if I open it up, I'm going to double it. Because, this is beta right now. And so you're getting a little bit of discount for that. But people tend to want to stay with me. Excuse me. So if you're interested, go to tracyhazel.com/app to complete your application. Not everyone who fills an application will get coaching. Everyone will get a 15-minute introductory call. But to see if we're fit. What if I don't fit you, or you don't fit me, or we don't fit each other? You've got your call, and it didn't cost you a thing. So let me see if you all have any questions. Okay. Somewhere around here should be. Aha. Nope, that's not going to work. Take that away. All right. Okay. I'm not seeing any questions, so I hope that was helpful. You can always get a hold of me on Facebook, Tracy Hazel. Tracy Hazel page is my page. And I hope you have an awesome rest of the evening. And join me Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. on my Facebook page or profile for my Facebook Lives. And you all have a great day. Bye.